need Stacey Mckinley for a long time. But Brendan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with my good friend. Good to have him back. You know, Stacey McKinley. Oh, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Great. Good to be here. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, great to have you back on, Stacey. I know it's been some months since the last time we spoke here on the channel, at least. I mean, I saw you when I was down there in Florida in May, but I don't know if you can speak on it because you told me some other stuff. But can you speak on the Teofimo Lopez Shakur fight now that some months have passed by?
Well, I can speak on it. I don't. I mean, people who saw the fight, you basically, what you saw is basically what happened. I can say this, that we really didn't fight the fight that we was prepared for.
Yeah.
But that's the way boxing is.
Okay. What was there anything that surprised you about Shakur Stevenson? Do you have a different view of him now?
No. There was nothing surprised me about Shakur Stevenson. I've been knowing him ever since he was an amateur. I've been knowing him since he was a kid. I knew that he was a very good boxer, and I knew that he's a difficult guy to beat. He's a southpaw, and I work with many left-hand fighters, so I understand southpaw. One of my champions was Michael Nunn, who was a southpaw. Also, Manning Galloway, who was a southpaw, my world champion. Michael Moore, who's my light heavyweight world champions, WBO. So I can go on and on with left-hand fighters. So I know left-hand southpaw, and I know when one is good, and I know their style. So I wasn't surprised at this kid. No, I wasn't surprised at all.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, I like Teo. What kind of fight were you guys planning on fighting with Teo? Because it just seemed like he was confused. He was caught in between two styles. He wasn't really sure of himself that night.
Well, what we saw was in the first round. Okay, what we saw in the first round was a fill-out round, basically.
Yep.
And my concern was, okay, the first round is a fill-out round, but you got different types of fill-out rounds. You got some rounds that you take the entire round to fill the fighter out. Then you got some rounds you have to fill the fighter out fast. So our thing was to fill him out fast, because what you don't want to do is have to play catch up and start losing rounds. So we had to fill him out early in the first round and go to work right from there.
Okay. It just seemed like the two, Stacey, that he couldn't take away the southpaw jab, and he was kind of just falling over on his front foot.
Listen. We knew that Shakur had a good jab. Okay, you got to understand one thing: Shakur is a converted southpaw. He's a right-hand fighter.
Yeah, he's
right-hand, and they convert him to southpaw, which means he's going to have a good jab, a strong jab. He's going to have a good right hook. So we already knew that. We knew that his right jab was a lot stronger than his left hand, because he's right-handed. It's just like Michael Moore. Michael Moore actually was a right-hander, and we turned him southpaw.
Yeah.
So when we turned him southpaw, his jab hand was actually stronger. But anyway, we knew all of these things, and we worked on all of this. Okay, but you got to implement them in the ring when fight night comes.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't come together on the night. I get it. As far as I guess there were a lot of moments in that fight in the corner. I know there was the infamous moment where Teofimo Sr. said, "What happened to your power, bro?" With you being in the corner, what was your reaction to, I guess, to that particular moment, and just throughout the fight? What was the feeling in the corner in between the rounds?
Well, I knew that we was off to a slow start.
Yeah,
I knew we were off to a slow start. I knew that we wasn't fighting the fight that we had trained for, and we didn't fight the fight that we started. We wanted to start early on, okay? And we was hoping that we apply a lot of pressure, put the pressure on him, and hopefully he'll go to the ropes or back up, and this type of thing. So those are the instructions that I was waiting to actually give him. Say, look, you got to start this fight fast, and you got to back this kid up and fight him, because if you stand back, this kid can box. He's a southpaw, and a southpaw who can box, especially one if he's coming forward, he's a dangerous fighter. So
Yeah.
you got to back him up, cut the ring off, put him against the ropes, and let's bang him out and let's fight. You got to make a fight out of it. Stop. You're not going out there trying to outsmart him or outthink him. You don't have to do that. The fight the southpaw, Livingstone Bramper told me a long time ago about fighting southpaws. In Detroit, where we from, our thing is to put your left foot to the outside of the southpaw and step around and keep him turning. Turn it away from the right hand, from the left hand. But I found out later in life from Livingstone Brown's in Las Vegas, he told me, say, the way to beat a southpaw is stay on top of him. And I said, oh, yeah? So it was years and years ago. He said, look at my record. Most of the southpaws I fought, I knocked them out. So I said, let me try this. So I tried it and with my fighters, and sure enough, we started knocking them out. So, but we allowed Stevenson to come forward. When we allowed him to come forward, that was still a disadvantage to us because we had the power, the strength, the power, and the speed. So the thing was not to let him come forward or to let him do lateral movement. A southpaw that's coming forward and one that does lateral movement is a dangerous fighter. He's a hard fighter to beat. But if you can stay on top of him, also another trainer that a lot of people don't like told me the same thing later years ago, and that was the great Panama Lewis. Panama Lewis said, in order to beat a southpaw, you got to stay on top of him. And so I started practicing both ways, and I found out that it was true both ways. The lateral movement also stay on top of him. All of it works.
Okay. Are you still in any contact with Teofimo Lopez, Stacey, at all? Will you be part of the next camps or?
Well, I don't know. With these people, you may not get a call, and you may get a call.
Yeah.
I just appreciate the fact that his father and him thought enough of me to give me an opportunity to work with him, and so I came in late, but I think I had some impact on the fight. In fact, I know I had some impact on the training, and so I just appreciate what his father did because his father and I we have a good relationship, and Tio and I have a great relationship. Now, whether or not I'm going to be part of the next camp, I don't know. I mean, I haven't received a call. I haven't called anybody. I'm just going through my daily routine. And if I do get a call, it'd be great. And if I don't, it's still great. And it was a good experience. And we had a lot of fun in New York. Also, it was cold, but we had a lot of fun. I appreciate the fact that what Shakur Stevenson said to Joe Rogan. He said that Teofimo had a good trainer in the corner, was telling him what to do, but he wasn't listening. And I remember in one round, I was telling him to put the pressure on Shakur. You got to fight him, you got to make a dog fight out of it. And so Crawford looked at me and said, well, you can't put the fight in the dog, but there ain't no dog in the fight. The fight ain't got no dog in him or something like that. But anyway, I looked at him like, oh, okay. But anyway, it was a good learning process for him. Shakur is a great fighter, so you can't take that from him. I don't think that Teofimo has scratched the surface on what he really could be. Technically, I mean, he's a super athlete. He has super ability, but technically, I don't think that he's actually haven't touched what he could really be. I don't know. Maybe in the future that he may pull through that, go to another level where he should be. But the kid got great potential.
So you still see great things for him. He's 28 years old. His best moments of his career thus far, Stacey, were like roughly six years ago when he fought Lomachenko. Also, he had the fight with Josh Taylor. He's had little spells of greatness in his career, but do you still see like more moments like that for him, even at 147?
Well, I see the moments. If he slow down, slow down a bit, slow down a little bit, get your mind back on boxing. You got a lot of things going on in the world. There come a time, as the old promoter told me, you got to come out of the woods and look back at the forest so you can see where you're at. And so what he has to do is come out of the woods, look back and say, look, I remember when I was doing this and when I was doing that. So he got to come out. Come on in. He had to come out and see where he's at. So it's and if he does that, get back to his basic fundamentals. And you have to understand one thing. Teofimo is an entertainer.
Correct.
because he's an entertainer and people love him. Everybody love him. He walks with a smile all the time, a little smirk on his face and this type of thing. But he's an entertainer, and he has a lot of that entertainment thing in him because his fans like it. You know, they like it. They like the way he acted, like the way he danced. He's a good dancer. He skips rope like Sugar Ray Robinson. All this stuff. The guy's a fantastic person and a fantastic athlete. But this is boxing. Sometimes you got to go back to the basics and start over with the basics. Once you do the basics and have focal vision, put everything out, then I think that he has potential because he's only 28 years old and he hasn't been hurt. So he has the potential. He got a lot. He got a big ceiling to go. Now, whether he does it, I don't know. But he has to be with the people that can say, okay, this is what we got to do fundamentally. And he has to be able to listen to it and do the fundamentals of it. That's all.
Yeah, get back to the foundation of it all.
Foundation.
Sure. Yeah. He's got his they just announced he's fighting Rolly Romero August 22nd in Vegas. Knowing what you know about T.O., how do you feel about that matchup?
Well, you know, it's a good matchup, is what it is. Now, if you look at Teofimo technically Teofimo is a better fighter. Technically, he's a better fighter. Now you look at Rolly has good skills, but Rolly got punching power. He has good skills, he has punching power. Therefore, you can't take a lot of shots from him, and you can't make a lot of mistakes with him. Why? Because he got an equalizer. The equalizer is what? It's power. So a guy that has power can win a fight at any time. I look at what is his name? Big John Tate. When Big John Tate was fighting Weaver the Beaver. Okay, 15 rounds, he'd have beat him. All at once, big left hook, boom. It don't take but one shot and you can punch. So he had to be real careful. Work on his defense, keep his hands up, don't clown around, don't play with this guy, because if you get touched by Rolly, then it's gonna be lights out.
Yeah, and Rolly's also pretty physically strong too. I know he has that judo background. He has a bit of a judo. Yeah.
And on top of that, he's a very good person. He's a good kid. He has a good heart. You know, I talked with him several times. I met him at the airport once going to Vegas. The first time I ever talked with him.
Rolly?
He come up to me and started talking to me. He said, I know who you are. I said, yeah. And so we started talking, and then he went from boxing to personal stuff within 3 minutes. Telling about the personal things that he was dealing with. And so I started talking about it. I told him, young man, you know, this is what you're dealing with. I got experience with the people and the culture that you're talking about. I got a lot of experience with those people. And just take your time. Your life will be better. So when I saw him in New York doing the Teofimo Stevenson fight, I asked him how was he doing. He said, a lot better than I was the last time I saw you. So, but he's a good kid, which means he has a good heart. Both of them got good hearts. So, you know, it's going to be, you know, exciting, and I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to see the fight, you know.
That'd be a good fight. And they know each other too. I know they know each other. They I don't know about now, but I know they definitely were friends at one particular point, because I remember there was a video that went viral on here when in like 2021 when they were training down there in Vegas, and they definitely know each other. So that I think that's a very interesting aspect of the fight, the familiarity.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And you know, it's like Shakur Stevenson said, well, I don't want to fight certain fighters because we're friends. Okay, we're friends. But Teofimo and Rolly, they realize they're friends, but they also realize this is a business. Correct. So once you step inside that ring, it ain't no friends. That's just all it is to it. There's no friends. There's no scripture. You know, we stripped it. It's a scripted. It's this, scripted that. It's like I said about when Joshua and Wormercroft was doing these exhibitions and stuff. And I told my friends, I said, let me tell you something. He doesn't realize if he keeps fooling around with these exhibitions with these fighters, he's gonna get in the ring with one of these fighters one day, and the script ain't gonna work.
Yeah, he's gonna lose.
Because the fighter mind changes. And that's what happened to him in that exhibition. All at once, Joshua said, well, forget this. Forget the $25 or $30 million I can make. The fight thing kicked in. Boom, it was all over with. Now, a lot of people were surprised. I wasn't surprised, because I know you can't play boxing, because the fighter mind can change at any time in the ring.
You can't. And You mentioned that, to your point about the friends. I mean, we just had in Ohio this week, Abdullah Mason, Albert Bell. They were friends. They fought each other. Back in the day, you had Simon Brown and Maurice Blocker. They were friends. They fought each other. So it is possible. It can be done.
Well, yeah, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, all those guys are friends. Let me tell you what a lot of people don't understand, because a lot of people don't read. They don't research it like I have. I mean, some other boxing people I know. A lot of people thought that Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier was enemies, but they wasn't. Outside of this big show that they put on, the families hung out together. The families went out to dinner together. They visited each other, all this stuff. See, they was friends. But when that bell rang, you don't have any friends. That's one of the things I don't like about Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to tell you about Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard had the most beautiful smile, and he would wink his eye. And because I was an amateur doing that at the same time, he would wink his eye and be friendly. But when he stepped inside that boxing ring, it was no friends. You don't have any friends in there. So I think that Rolly, and I think the Teofimo understand that. I don't think they're looking at, well, we were friends. So when the fight is over with, they're still going to be friends. So they're going to be friends anyway. But you can't go in there, because you got to fight, and you got to fight to win. That's just all it is.
And if it's really your friend, all that more reason to fight them. Y'all can both put some money in y'all's pocket and make a better life for yourself, you know?
Absolutely. You know, I haven't experienced it, but I think that you go in there with that friendship mind. Okay, after 3 rounds, I think that friendship mind gonna come off once you get hit a couple of times. Wait a minute, it's not my friend. You got to fight.
Correct.
That's all it is to it. Yeah.
Correct. Switching gears, Stacey. I know back in the past, you know, we did an interview one time, and it made some waves when you were talking about Jaron Ennis, you know, and you said what's so great about boots, you know, and all that stuff. And he just had a great performance against Xander Zayas, where he stopped him. He's now a two-time unified champion, 4-division champion overall. What did you think about the Jaron Ennis Xander Zayas fights, and have you moved off of your past criticisms of Jaron Ennis?
Okay, my criticism. I mean, we just used the term criticism.
Okay.
But what I was pointing out was the mistakes that he make in the ring, and the things that he does in the ring. I call it. I guess you would say I criticize that, because what I'm doing is I'm looking at my 154 pound. I'm looking at my fighter, and Alex to figure out. Alex Bray. I got to figure out how to beat Boots, and I see all these mistakes that Boots is making. So I got to capitalize on them now.
Correct.
Let's get back to Xander's, the last fight. The last fight was simple. It was a very simple. You don't have to sit there and say, well, what went wrong? Or why didn't he do this? It was very simple. The kid went in there. He had a fight plan. I hope that wasn't a fight plan that he had, to go in there and stand there and trade with this kid. He stood there and he traded. When he was boxing, you have to box him a little bit. And you have to fight him some. But you can't stand right there toe to toe, especially when you get hit. You stand there and you trying to catch punches and roll punches, and a lot of these shots are landing. You got to have sense enough to say, hey, look, let me step around or let me pull back. Now, I don't know if the corner was hollering and telling him this. I don't know. But you stayed in the pocket too long. You can stay in the pocket too long. So to me, it was a strategy. I don't know if it was in the corner, but somehow he was fighting the wrong fight. He was fighting for a minute the right fight, and then he would stay there. But he would need to get his shots off and get out and box more. And when he boxed more, you saw that he could hit Boots. He can hit him with right hands. He can hit him with left hooks.
Correct.
He can hit him with body shots.
He even had him hurt in the 3rd round.
It had him hurt bad. But what do you want to do? He want to stay there, and he want to exchange, and he want to trade, which makes a very exciting fight. But you're in the trenches with a guy, and that's where he wanted you at. You couldn't beat him in the trenches, although you was hurting him. But you got to be smart. Now, if Boots was fighting a kid like I would say if he was fighting Terence Crawford, no, I got to get in my shots off. I got to get out of here, and I got to box. I got to think. So that's a different type of fight. So I don't fault the kid. I think that a lot of people say, well, he took the fight a little soon, and then when you're 23 years old, let me tell you what the trainer told me once.
Go ahead.
When you're 23 years old, whether you're in boxing or whatever it is, you're supposed to be able to piss over a bus. But you're supposed to be at your peak, your strength. A lot of folks at 28, 29, at 23 years old, man is super strong. So we can't go by the age. Like I'm telling you, it has something to do with the strategy of the fight. If you notice when he would box, he could hit Ennis. But when he stand there and trade and try to outbang him and all that, he got in trouble. That
Correct.
was
So
trouble.
very foolish fight plan, honestly, in retrospect. But so you mentioned Terence Crawford with Jaron Ennis. I know that Crawford, he's retired, even though I don't really consider him retired because it hasn't been a full year yet. But did you see anything in that Jaron Ennis fight that would make you say, you know what, he's evolved? I now think he's as good as a guy like Terence Crawford, because a lot of people put him in that caliber.
No, he's not. He's not good as Terence Crawford. Listen, it's a thing called you come along at the right time. Okay, Crawford come along at the right time. Who's to come along at the right time? It's all about timing. These guys, these Class B and C fighters, they're going to always look superior over those guys because they come along at the right time. They don't have the competition. Crawford didn't have the competition until he stepped up in there with Canelo.
Yeah.
He stepped in with Canelo, okay? But yet still him fighting Canelo. Let me explain something to you. Canelo is a great fighter. Canelo's a strong fighter. He's a good puncher. But Canelo ain't no Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
He ain't no Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay? He ain't no Tommy Hearns. He ain't no Marvin Hagler. He ain't no Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, you want me to continue to go ahead on? He ain't no Carlos Palomino. Okay? He ain't no... listen, we can go on and on.
James Toney.
But it's the timing. The timing is right to make him look superior. But there's always going to be somebody coming. And I think I got the one that's coming. If Boots stay in that, if he stay in that, at that 154 pounds, which I don't think he will. I think by the time we get there a year and a half or maybe close to 2 years, I think he'll be gone. But I got the right guy for him that's coming. So, and that's Alex Bray. So there's always somebody coming. And one thing you got to remember, I don't care how good you are or what you can do, but there's always somebody going to beat you. They're going to figure you out. They got your number. Muhammad Ali, as great as he was, Kenan Norton had his number. Even Sugar Ray Robinson. Why did Jake LaMotta have his number? You got to understand one thing. There's always going to be somebody. And if you hang around and catch the guys that they beat, then you got to move on. They got to come on in there. That's just all it is to it. So Boots will be there.
Yeah.
But somebody going to get Boots. Don't worry about Boots. Boots going to get his. I'm going to bring Boots his. Ain't nobody about that. Yeah, we keep going like we're going. When I look through the 154 pounds, okay, give me another year and a half. Give me another year and a half, 6, 7 fights. Look, and Boots can come on, Boots. And come on the rest of them. Yeah.
You've been going on about Alex. I remember when Boots was down at like 147. You've been going on about Alex Bray since 2024 when I was down there and I interviewed you about him. He's now 10 in the WBA, which is one of the belts that Boots currently holds. So how is Alex Bray's development, Stacey, and how far do you think he is from a world title?
Well, I think he got a ways to go. He about 4 or 5 fights from a world title. We're looking at about 18 months. And it all depends on who he's fighting. Now, the big Boots, we're looking at about, I would say, 18 months, maybe 5 or 6 fights, 5 or 6 more fights, and he would definitely be ready. Now, you got some of these other guys down there at 154 pounds, and they're doing a lot of talking. Now, I would take Xander. Now, a guy like Xander, if he fight the same kind of fight that he fought against him, I'd take Alex Bray and knock him out. I could pick Alex and knock him out because Alex, you got to understand one thing. Alex is 6'3".
Yep.
He got long reach. And he can box, and he got speed, and he can punch. And he got good eyes and good reflexes. And he ain't even 19 years old. So you got to understand what you got here. So you got a real young man. So his man strength ain't came yet. So you give him 18 more months. His man strength gonna start coming in. And I think I think that he's gonna dominate and control the division. And he doesn't have a problem making weight.
No, for sure. Does he have anything lined up? Because I don't see anything here about.
No, he's fighting. He's fighting in Orlando. He's fighting in Orlando. I think it's the 24th of next month.
Okay.
He's fighting in Orlando. Yeah, we're keeping him busy.
That's good. No, that's good. He's 11-0 right now. 4 or 5 more fights will be 15, 16-0. So
But he live. You have to understand. He and his brother both. They live boxing. They do
right.
this every day. I mean, it's every day. That's no problem. They run. They ain't smoking. They ain't drinking. They ain't staying out all night. They ain't chasing women. They're not doing all this. It was brought up. Their father brought them up in the program. So that boxing been in their family for years.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, they had a couple of relatives to go to the Olympics, and one of them I know, but I don't forget his name. But anyway, they've been there, so they got the discipline. And Alex Bray is really hungry, and that's all he lack is box. He doesn't talk much. It doesn't carry on conversation. He's not afraid. He loved to get in there. He loved to hurt, and he got power. You have to understand now. He got that Thomas Hearns power. He's sitting down on the right hands and coming down through there. You're gonna have a problem, Boots. You're gonna have a problem. I saw them right hands. I saw them right hands Zayas was hitting you with. You wobbling and ducking and going on. If Alex Bray hit you 18 months from now, you coming up out of there, Boots. You got to come up out of there. Young man can punch.
So that's it. So Alex Bray is the guy that's going to beat Jaron Ennis. He's the guy to beat Jaron Ennis at 54.
Yeah. Knock him out. Not just beat him, you got to stop him.
Exclamation point.
That's right. Exclamation point. Now you know you don't want the fight. When you stop him, you can't leave it in the hands of the judge because people start crying, oh, they took the fight from me. Well, now you gave it to him. You should have knocked him out.
Correct. Yeah. Leave no doubts.
Yeah, leave no doubts about it, But everything is good. Everything is good,
Yeah. Stacey, you have a lot of skin in the game when it comes to the heavyweights. You're the heavyweight guy. You train heavyweight champions. There's this kid in England, Itauma. Have you watched him at all? And if so, what's your take on Itauma, the young British heavyweight?
I watched him, and I watched him close. He has hidden power. He has hidden power. He doesn't look like it. He doesn't look like he has that power because a lot of people looking at, let's say, for instance, Tyson Fury.
Yep.
6'7", 260 pounds and all of this stuff. Joshua, 6'7", 6'6", and 240 pounds, 45 pounds. And so you're looking at these guys at 6 something and 240 and some of that pound and muscles all popped all up here. So when you look at him, you say, well, he looked thin. He doesn't look like he's powerful, but he has hidden power, like Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson had hidden power, and now they're trying to say pound for pound, he's the hardest hitting fighter that ever lived. He has hidden power. You look at Roberto Duran, he looks soft. His body looks soft, but he had hidden power. So this kid doesn't, big heavyweight with big muscles and all that, but he has hidden power. He's talented, and he can punch. And I tell you, he's a dangerous young man. He's going to be problems. A lot of times, I like guys like him because they got good speed with the power. So they don't have to carry a whole lot of weight. And they got good speed. So I like guys like him. Angelo Dundee once told me about, I think it was Amir Ahman, was slim and slim fighter, and he could punch. And Angelo told me, he said, I like those slim guys above even Wilder. Deontay Wilder is a good example. I like those slim looking guys above these big old bulky guys, he said, because they got speed and good punching power. Heavyweights, yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, because if a guy's bulky, he gets tired faster. The speed isn't there, and in boxing, we know speed is power. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and like I tell my guys, I said, listen, this ain't about cosmetics. We're not in the modeling business. We're in the fight business. You don't need all of that bulk. You don't need all of that. That's for sure. That don't make you a better fighter. I remember Roberto Duran said about having 6-packs and 8-packs. Roberto Duran wanted to have cushion. He said, we need cushion on it. I don't need all muscles out there like that. Even Guillermo Jones the same way. I've never seen a fighter like Guillermo Jones. Before he fight, he go eat bowls and bowls of spaghetti until his stomach just pop out like this, and then he take it and push it down himself. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm putting pad in there. But anyway, yeah. So I like that young heavyweight, and he's young.
Yeah, he's young. He's young. They're putting. I mean, I'm interested to see his development because they've been, he's been getting some Mike Tyson comparisons. I don't know what you think about that because you train Mike Tyson, so you would know better than anybody else. But Even I was talking to Rick Laser the other day. Rick Laser was on the channel the other day, and he told me that he feels that at 21 years old, that Mosley Itauma might be a more I think he said complete heavyweight than Mike Tyson. So I don't know. I think that's a bit much, but what do you think about those Mike Tyson comparisons?
As far as punching power go, and speed, I'm not going to try to take anything away from a young fighter because a young fighter can punch. But
Yeah.
you got to understand, Mike Tyson had a different type of punch. He had a different type of punch. He had different speed. Now, this kid is a good fighter, but as far as being an all-around fighter, complete, put together, he ain't no Mike Tyson at no 20 years old. He's far from being a Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a complete fighter. He was a complete fighter. And a lot of people didn't get a chance to see the total Mike Tyson. They didn't get a chance to see all his skills. Because I asked him once, I saw him make a move in the gym once after being with him 2 years. And I said, Mike, I ain't never seen you do that before. And he stopped and told me, there's a lot of things I can do, Stacey. You haven't seen me do because ain't nobody can make me do them. So I can take a shortcut. Now it's the same thing with Muhammad Ali. Well, Everybody said Muhammad Ali is so great. He did this and he did that. But you got to understand one thing. 3 years of his prime was taken from him. So you don't know what he could have been. So it's the same thing. You really don't know. So, but he couldn't have been, that kid got a long ways to go skill-wise to be a man. Now he can beat these fighters now.
Yeah.
He can beat all these guys out, and which is great for a 21-year-old man. I like watching him. He's the man. When he hits you, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's what the heavyweight division. People like that. They sit there when they watch him, they sit there waiting for something to happen. The same thing with Mike Tyson. They're waiting for something to happen. And boom, there it is.
Yeah. So bringing that excitement back to the big boy division, Yeah. People want to see knockouts,
People want
they
to
don't want to see cartoon characters. They want to see knockouts.
That's why the UFC grew so fast, because of the knockouts.
Correct.
Those guys are getting knocked out. And see what has happened now. I'm going to tell you. I shouldn't be telling people all this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Go.
What has happened is this. This is what has happened. Mm-hmm. Why did we see less knockouts in professional boxing? Why we see less knockouts? It's because the way they're being trained.
Correct.
Okay, they're being trained to throw a lot of punches, to run, to hold, and all this. Back in the day, when I was coming up, we was taught to punch straight through a guy. These guys are taught hit and run. But our thing was to punch straight through him. So they're not, these guys are not sitting down on their punches and punching. They're trying to slap and take off running to keep from getting hit and all this type of stuff. Now, Boo's got some good power. He sits down on these shots.
Yep.
He got good power. He sits down on his shot. But most of these guys, they ain't getting no knockouts. So now these guys, a lot of these guys were sitting down on their punches. Then a lot of these guys will be getting stopped. And the boxing with flourishes. Oh my God. There might be a knockout here. But you go in there, the guys is running and ducking and trying to go to distance and talking about I'm great and all this. Well, people don't want to see all. They go to UFC, they're gonna go over there and see a knockout.
Correct. See dudes get choked out and kicked in the face and things like that.
Yeah, choked out, kicked in the face, and all that kind of stuff. But right now, you're that young heavyweight. If he hits you, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna hit the floor. So we got to tune into this boy.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how he goes. Stacey, what being a guy that's been not just a trainer, but you operate in the business side of it as well, with like managing fighters. I know you had experience with that. You threw shows in the past, like coming up in Michigan. What's your take on Zuffa Boxing? Their entry into the sport.
Well, I sit back and I let a lot of people talk, and I watch them, and I watch Zuffa, and I watch the things that they're saying that they're trying to do in boxing, and the exposure they're trying to do in boxing, and bring back the boxing audience, and so what they're saying is that they want to, from all aspects, they want total control. They want control of everything to make their thing work. Now,
correct.
There's two things about that. Now let's go to Don King, the greatest ever did it. Okay, Don King, and I was telling some guys, I've been telling the last 2 or 3 months. Don King, and I told Al Heyman this also. I said, like I told Al, you will do real well in boxing, but you will never be what you should be in boxing as a promoter because you don't have total control. I said, Don King had control. He had control of the fighters. He had control of the managers. He had control of the other promoters that was involved. He had control of everybody that was involved. He had his own training camp. So you know you got to go and get ready. So that's total control. And the control that he had was, the main thing was two things: loyalty and working together works. And he taught us that. And we worked together. And that's why he lived by that. And that's why Don King was the king. Now, right now, is what Zuffa Boxing is going to find out is you're not going to be able to control fighters like you think you are. The UFC fighters is different from the actual fighters in the ring. It's a whole different ballgame. The history of the boxer is different from the history of UFC fighters. So that format that you're trying to bring to boxing is not going to work. It's not going to work with fighters. The fighters' mentalities are different. The mentality is different. Now you got to go a little bit deeper than that. Let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back in time. Boxing, I don't know how spiritual the people, the audience out there, but boxing was a God creation. You got to understand that boxing was a sport that is a God creation. It was creation for the poor man. It's a poor man's sport. Okay, back when boxing, they had bare knuckle boxing and street boxing and all this type of thing. People were boxing because God created a sport that can take the poor man out of the cotton field or the poor man out of the farm field and give him a life that he can make more money and take care of his family. And that comes from hundreds of years ago. So that's God's creation. So he's not going to let you come in and destroy what he created, because there's still a lot of poor people worldwide, and boxing can help. And boxing can help those people. That's why they will never go to make it with only 8 weight classes. If you only got 8 weight classes versus 60 something weight classes in the other divisions, okay. I remember when they first came out with these 4 different governing bodies. My thing was, oh, that's going to be too many. But what I realized is it gave a lot of fighters the opportunity.
Correct.
To make a good living for their families and feed their families. But with 8 weight classes, a whole lot of fighters ain't going to get a chance to fight for no world title. That's one of the reasons why I stopped fighting at 7-0. Because when I looked up the ladder, I said, good gracious of life. I got to fight Ernie Shakers. I got to go through all these guys to get to Muhammad Ali. By the time I get there, I don't know what I'm going to look like.
Correct.
So you only had only had one champion. So, but now everybody can eat. So they're trying to change that. And that's going to be very difficult to change. I think they're learning right now that it's not as easy as you think it is. So we're going to see what happens. And I hope everything work out for them, you know, and they look at like, well, you know, we got plenty of money. Well, you got plenty of money. There's no doubt about it. Money can help, but money cannot control the fact that this is God's creation, because you can lose that money. Correct. You can lose that money, but you're not. Boxing going to be around when Zuffa and all the rest of them is gone. That's always sure. From boxing, because there's always going to be some poor people. So I'm not knocking them. You know, I've watched them. I had a couple of kids that wanted me to train them, to work with them. There's no problem. But we're not getting rid of the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. They're not going any place, because these fighters need a place to go.
Correct. And to your point about like just the boxing being a poor man's sport, it being God's creation. Zuffa Boxing, Stacey, it's very corporate. It's extremely corporate. It's making boxing very corporate. And that in itself, I feel it conflicts with the essence of boxing as a poor man's sport.
Absolutely. Well, they want to control it just like they control basketball and like a corporation. Yeah. Sure. But that's not going to work with these fighters. They're going to find out, well, why is these guys are different? Why their minds are different? Because it's a different sport. It take a long time to figure out the fighter's mind, how these fighters' head works. And you think that you come in there and say, well, here you $5 million. You're going to do what I want you to do and all that. The fighter might, listen, I done seen a fighter put $300 million back on the table.
Damn.
I couldn't believe that. Now, listen, the contract right there on the table. So all you got to do is sign it.
Yeah.
Fighter get the contract, so I ain't doing it. Listen, man, you talking about 20-something years ago. So you tell me what a fighter might do. So he might not say, well, I don't want to fight for you. I don't like that. It's not personal for me. So it's this thing has to be personal. Like I say, you look at Sugar Ray Robinson, like Sugar Ray Robinson always said, boxing is spiritual. You know,
Yeah.
he skipped his rope. It's religion. And if you notice that when Ray Robinson retired, and started his sports program out in California, he had all different sports except for boxing, because he realized boxing is a religion. It's tough, it's religion, and you got to live it, and you got to appreciate it and understand it. And so he didn't have it. Yeah.
1000%. And one thing that's like so different from the UFC to boxing, Stacey, is like the one thing Dana White always says is that boxing is like going out of business sale, right? But I feel like boxing kind of has to be like a going out of business sale, because unlike the MLB or NFL or NBA, LeBron James and these athletes, they're employees of the league. Boxing is one-off events. It's a one-night, one-off events. Boxers are all independent contractors, and they keep the lion's share of the revenue. So, yeah, UFC and Dana White's companies, they've been able to make a lot of money because they don't allow their fighters to keep as much of the revenues.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. My understanding is you'll get sponsors and all that stuff. The sponsor has to go through them, and you can't have your own sponsor and all that. So all of this stuff is going to backfire. So people are going to say, well, I might as well get me a job. If I got to go through all this, I might as well get me a job somewhere. Yeah. So I'm not having any fun. I'm not building any character for myself. I make a little money, but I don't feel it in my soul. I don't feel spiritual about it. It's a feeling that they lose all of that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if I didn't have that feeling and that understanding about boxing, I wouldn't do what I'm doing now. I would quit.
Correct.
No, I ain't doing this. But this is what it is. This is the spirit that we go through. This is what I saw in the little kids that I made world champions out of. Little kids that I just left Mississippi putting the program together. And I'm looking at these little kids. Things is happening, okay? So I have to do all this stuff for them. So I have to do spiritually what I'm doing. You know, God gave me the energy and gave me the help. And I ain't got no problems. I'm gonna keep doing it until I die.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because boxing is one of those things that when you really love it the way you love it, and even the way I love it, it's something that's it doesn't leave you. It can't leave you. It is your life.
It can't leave you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Well, how can you do this? Because I love it. And at the time I got into it, I didn't have anything else going for me that I could reach out in the world and travel all around the world. And I didn't like the fact that you put a cap on my money on a job. Well, I'm gonna pay you $50,000 a year, $25,000 a year. I make as much money as I can. Can't nobody put no cap on it. And I traveled all over the world. I've met presidents. I've met prime ministers. I've met everything in the world.
Yeah.
Pimps, crooks, gangsters, the whole world. I done did it all. So right. if I didn't have boxing, I couldn't live that type of life. And I'm still traveling, going places. You know, still healthy, traveling, going places. 6'2", 210 pounds, running at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 and 4 miles, 4 and 5 days a week. Who you know my age is doing that?
Yeah,
boxing got me doing this.
It's all boxing, eating your Brazilian walnuts and whatnot. You know.
Yeah, eat my walnut. You know about my dieting. I got my special dieting and all that. Yeah. If I didn't have boxing, I wouldn't be doing all of that.
Correct.
You know, I'd be big as I don't know what. I just come back from one of my class reunions, high school class reunions. Hey, we sure look a lot different. But boxing did it for me. Correct. So I'm gonna continue to love boxing. Boxing saved me, and boxing provided my kids, my daughter, to go to college. She went to Cornell University. Then she went to Columbia. Then she got a doctorate degree at Connecticut. And then my son, he went to Mississippi State. Hines, he got his master's. Plus he's a minister and a teacher and all that stuff. Boxing have provided the finances to get some of this stuff done.
Yeah, so it can never just be corporate. It can never just be like, oh, well, I'm going to give you $50,000 for 3 fights a year and all that stuff.
No, I'm not worried about no.
Yeah.
I don't need your money.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen. there's a song on internet by AI, because I knew that regular human being write this song. It's called "Where Did the Time Go?" And then it told the story that you have reached your goal and you still got more roads to travel. And I said, this sounds like me. So what it says is, you have accomplished what you set out to be. You become what you set out to be. I have become what I set out to be. Okay. I wanted to travel the world. I did it.
Yep.
I wanted to meet different people on different levels. I've done it.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to make a little bit more money than the average factory worker. I've done it. So I have done what I set out to do. So now everything now is just going on and on and on until it's over with. So if it wasn't for boxing, half the things I couldn't have done. Half the people, now it's a big sacrifice. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot of things going on out there. Emmanuel Steward, one of my mentors, that told me, he said, look, you got a lot of stuff going for you here, and you got to work. When everybody else is partying, everybody doing this, you got to work. So I made my mind up, hey, I'm gonna jump off in the middle of this ocean. Either I'm gonna swim or I'm gonna drown. I almost drowned a few times.
Yeah.
but I made it back.
But you found your way. You found your way.
Yeah. It's getting better.
It always gets better with time.
Yeah, it's getting better with time. You look back over it, and it's one thing I wanted to tell. I wanted to tell Floyd Mayweather. I put a call in for him last week. I had a chance to talk to his best friend.
Oh, wow.
And told him to tell Floyd, listen, read about all this stuff that you've gone through and the stuff that you're going through. You got to realize one thing. You have to understand the spirituality of everything that you're doing. When you tell him to come out of the woods and look back at the forest so he can determine where he is. You just can't stay there where you are and keep fighting and fighting and fighting. You can find yourself going in a circle. So settle down, come out, look back in the forest. Okay, now let me start over again. That's what you're going to have to do. You can't just fight, and you ain't getting nowhere. Going in a circle trying to explain to somebody why you lost or somebody took your possession. Those are material things.
Correct.
Don't fool around and lose your mind. So if you lose your mind, you're going to lose everything you got anyway. So you're going to always, you're a hard worker. You're going to always have material things. Don't have to worry about that. Might not have it as much as you once had it, but you're always going to be all right, Floyd. You're going to be all right. Just settle down a little bit. Yeah. And remember one thing, Floyd, you ain't got no friends. See, everybody loves a winner. Those songs say, but when you lose alone. You got to understand that. Yeah. You got to stand up. It's like he told me when he was, before he had his first pro fight. I'm going to make it, Stacey. I got it. I'm going to work hard. And I told him one day, Floyd, you're going to win championships in 4 different weight classes. So I saw him about at a WBC convention. You remember when I told you that? He said, Stacey, you lied. What you mean I lied? He said, I won 6. I said, okay, all right, okay, I'll take that. But he's always been close to me. And I've been knowing his whole family. We all had the same trainers back in Michigan. His father and I, and his uncle and all that. I love his uncle. And he's passed on. He's a great trainer, great person. So
it must be really intriguing to see all the stuff going on in the media with supposedly him losing money and things getting repossessed and having to sell off things. It looks like he's kind of going on the route of a lot of these fighters from yesteryear that have lost their money.
Listen, it's one thing Floyd is yet to do. Okay, Floyd has to find his God. He got to find his God. He got to become more spiritual. He find his God, and you're gonna realize all these material things that you had got, these watches and all that stuff. One day it's not going to matter.
Correct.
It won't matter. So what you have to do is you pass it on down to your kids and your children and make sure that your family is taken care of and all that. Because one day all that stuff ain't gonna mean nothing to you. You'll get rid of all of that. If you get down, if you fall on your back and on your knees and can't walk, and you cripple and sit up in a wheelchair, you'll pray to God, God, I get rid of all of this if I could just walk again.
Right.
So it ain't gonna matter. because you done been there, you done that. I can understand it if you hadn't did these things that you want to do, but you done everything that you want to do. And you're going to continue to do things. It may not be on that level, but just settle down a little bit. Come out the forest, look back at it, and say, I got to where I wanted to be. That's right. And you did it. And I know you worked hard for it. You worked extremely hard. So you're going to be all right. Floyd's going to be okay.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Because I love Floyd as a fighter. I love Floyd, and it's not cool to see. I don't cheer nobody's downfall. It's not cool to see like what's been happening to him and stuff. But everybody has to find their way to peace and I guess God or spirituality, as you say. So hopefully he finds that.
You got to find your peace. Once he finds his peace, he'll be all right. If he ain't got 30 diamond watches no more and only got one, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
if you only got one nice car and one nice mansion, ain't nothing wrong with that, Floyd.
Yeah.
I want to know, how's your heart? Is your liver okay? Are your kidneys working right? Is your mind working right? Can you see your eyes working right? Can you move around? Can you walk? Yeah. You're rich, boy.
Can still go to the boxing gym,
Yeah, you're rich. You're rich with health. You eat right, eat what you're rich. Just settle down a little bit. That's all you got to do.
No, that's great. That's great perspective, Stacey. I think you're dropping some gems there, and hopefully he listens to that.
Yeah. Oh, he listens to me. He's my friend. I knew him when he was in his mother's belly. It wasn't a big deal. I know his father. His father and I had the same trainers back there, Dale Williams, back there in Michigan, all that. So it's a family thing. And the people in Michigan, we are really proud of Floyd. I live in Florida, amateur when you come to Don's camp. The thing about it is he rose so high because he worked so hard.
Correct.
Ain't nobody gave him nothing. I'll tell you that right now. He's a hard-working man in show business. He worked for what he got. And so if he's going to lose what he got, well, at least he had it. But he ain't going to never be flat broke. He ain't going to be not broke, and his broke is two different types of brokes.
Correct. It's different level.
Whole different level,
Yeah.
Now, if he could eat, if his diet, I don't know what his diet is, but if his diet was like my diet, then it's a whole different world. Now, most people can't do what I do because of the diet. How you do this? This same thing. You see me cook the same thing over and over and over. That's worth more than any diamond watch, any Mercedes Benz to me. Now, I tell people all the time, well, how much money you spend on groceries a week? I said, I spend a lot. I got 6 kids. Why? Because I'm eating healthy and the best. And I just love it. If I can just work to keep eating like this, I'm all right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You eat better than a lot of fighters. Like I know fighters that aren't even as dialed in nutrition as you are at your age. So it's great to see.
Yeah. I'm in good shape. I'm healthy. I ain't got no problem. There ain't no medication. The fighter might give me a little mental problem sometime, but I'm all right.
That's just part of the job. That's part of the job of being a trainer.
That's part of the game.
Yeah.
And it take a long time. It take a long, another thing is with the UFC, what they're going to find out is this boxing thing that you're dealing with, you got to bring boxing people in there with you to help you make this thing out of this game. It take a long time to learn the psychology of this game.
Right.
Very long time to even understand fighters. There's going to be a many times you go, like I told you, you can tell the fighter was signed right here. The money might be right, but he said, now I'm going to tell you a story the guy told me once. He said, Stacey, I ain't going to say what the fighter he was talking about. The fighter, the psychologist told me, the fighter, if you tell him the truth, he's not going to believe you. But if you tell him a lie, he's going to believe the lie. The truth sounds too good. This is the way this guy thinks. I said, well, y'all don't know who told you, but you sure was right. And if you tell him the right way is to the left, he's going to go to the right. Now, if you want to him to go to the left, tell him to go to the right. Then you'll get on to the left where you want him at. That's the way fighter's mind works.
Yeah, it's wired a lot different.
The mind works different, and it changes at different stages. Okay, it start out very disciplined with you, and boom, 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 boom. Then all at once, it changes. You got to understand the change. Or you got to understand, if you meet him up there, you got to understand where he's at then, and then make changes up there. And that's where most people can't go. They can't go up there because they can't tell the fighter anything new. What you're trying to tell him, you don't have the experience. He already know. You got to tell him something that he doesn't know. And I'm gonna give you a little psychology on fighter. Even I had it with Michael Nunn.
Okay.
One of the reasons I can get close to a fighter and get to him, I can always tell him stories. They love stories.
That's right. Yeah.
They love this. They love stories. Now, these stories are true stories. Now, if you want a fighter to do something, let's say you're not using your jab enough. I keep telling you to use your jab. And he's using the jab, and you say, now look at Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes had a pop, 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 pop jab. And Larry Holmes, they say he one of the greatest jabbers come through the area. Now I done told him a story. Now he's gonna pick his jab up. He'll pick his jab up. Why? Because it didn't come from Stacey Mckinley. It came from Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes, yep.
In history. I'm tired of Stacey Mckinley telling me what to do. So instead of me telling him what to do, I put it to Larry Holmes. This is what Larry Holmes say. So now he listens to Larry Holmes. He doesn't read no more because he's mad because I'm training him every day. You know, a lot of people say, well, how come you ain't friendly with your fighters and go out and drink with your fighters? I don't do that. I ain't none of my friend. I got a job to do.
That's right.
I got a job to do. And they say, well, how come you should be more known than you are? Because I stayed out of the camera.
That's right. Because
I told you, you're not the star, you're the star maker. Therefore, stay out the camera, stay off the news, stay out the newspaper.
Correct.
Because fighters don't want you taking up into their space or into their credit because they think they're doing it all anyway.
That's why like many years ago, I remember when like I'm gonna say 10 or 11 years ago when I would see you down at Heavyweight Factory, when you came up to me, you were like, hey, come by the gym, let's start doing some videos and things like that. I was surprised because you were that kind of guy. Even now, like, you know, the only time you would do interviews is with me or maybe one other person.
Yeah, listen. So you got to pass this stuff on. I know a lot of trainers and a lot of people, they have all this knowledge, they keep it to themselves, and they die, and it's gone. Yeah. So I try to get young people and tell them as much as I can about this business if you want to be in this business. I also tell them, hey, from a mindset, I don't think you need to be in this. You better go out and get you a job at Amazon or somewhere, because then you ain't cut out for this boxing stuff, not to do what you want to do. And like I said, I opened up that gym at my old junior high school in Mississippi, opened up a boxing gym there for the kids. So I went down there and worked on that over the holiday. So a lot of that stuff I do so that I can get young kids to go in there. And everybody right now, you know, Jackson, Mississippi is the murder capital of the world. Can you believe that? The murder capital of the world.
Is it really?
Yeah. And everybody's scared. Boom, 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 boom. And every week there's killings and all this stuff. They said, well, are you going off in that neighborhood? And you got that gym down there and all that? I'm from this neighborhood. Okay. You scared because you ain't from no neighborhood like this. Yeah. So I'm from this neighborhood. Okay. So I'm not worried about all of that kind of stuff. This is where the gym should be. But they want me to put the gym downtown where ain't nothing going on. Everybody's nice down there. Ain't nobody throwing no bricks. Ain't nobody shooting. Ain't nobody. I got to go down there where it was bullets and gun smoke. So I put my gym down there where they get bullets and gun smoke. Maybe I can help a couple of them kids in my program, okay, that they don't be caught up in that bullet and gun smoke. If they already in it, I can help get them out of it. So they're preaching to me about going, why don't you go to this different city over here and they're going to give you money. I don't want your money for this. Money can't buy this, what I'm trying to do. So getting back to what you were saying, what we talking about, money can't buy this. This is where I'm from, you know? So basically where I am now, coming from here, I ain't supposed to be where I am now. I wasn't supposed to make it. From broken home, broken dreams, broken promises, poverty, all of this stuff. Come on, man. You weren't supposed to be with no Don King for no 37 years.
Hey, Mike Tyson.
You weren't supposed to be with no Mike Tyson. How did you do this? Because it's the will of God. And I work for it.
Correct.
And I work for it. And I respect them. People get mad. I've had guys to say, well, what do you think about Mike Tyson and Don King? I had to shut their mouth up. I said, I love him next to Jesus Christ. What did you say? You heard what I said. That's how much they've done for me.
Yeah.
There's 3 people in this world I know that done super things for me, and that's Mike Tyson, Don King, and Tom Joyner. Them 3 right there, I love them next to Jesus Christ. You can't love them about no more than that.
That's lofty pride, very lofty praise.
Well,
But Stacey, I mean, we're like an hour in, man. I know you got things you got to get to, so I don't want to. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Is there any final message you want to give to the boxing world about just yourself, what you got going on, anything like that before you end the interview?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is a lot of people say, well, why is it when you do a text or send out an email, you always put at the end, "on in America"? That's Don King's statement. All right,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take what the King took, and I'm going to keep it going further because it is only in America. So what's wrong with that? You know,
Anything's possible in America.
anything possible. And I'm going to say to Floyd Mayweather, don't go around saying that black people want to see you fall. That's a lie. Don't believe that. That's the devil talking to you. You're bigger than that. Your head is bigger than that. I'm not talking about financially bigger, but you're, as a man and a human being, you're bigger than that. Stop saying that. All right, I'm done. I'm out of here.
All right, Stacey. Thank you so much.
On in America. On in America.
All in
All right.
America.
Okay.
All right.